Hello everyone, Seraphin here, welcome back for more Metroid Fusion. We just wrapped up the Sector 6 Nocturnal area. How did that X download the various suit data? This doesn't seem to make any sense at all, unless the X have the ability to process data organically. I always wondered about that, I'll get into that in a minute. At any rate, you have the various suit data. Now you'll be protected from extreme temperatures. More importantly, the SAX will no longer be able to freeze you, so you can escape easier. Well, that's good. They can still outright murder you, but you're still too weak. That thing is still too much for you. You currently have no ways of damaging it. But my simulations indicate that a penetrating weapon, like the plasma beam, might work. Developing modification data will take HQ some time, though. There's also a chance that you may be able to restore your plasma beam by absorbing a large core X, as you did with the charge beam function. As for restoring ice beam functionality, I doubt it. Your current cellular makeup would reject that addition. Therefore, HQ has developed the Ice Missile upgrade. This will add a freezing effect to your missiles. It will help. Go to Sector 5 ARC for the download. Is your objective clear? Sure, why not? Now, get moving. So, in most other Metroid games, you got the Ice Beam with which to freeze things, including Metroids and whatnot, but now, because I am part Metroid myself, I can't have that, so I have to have Ice Missiles instead. That is one of the big differences about this game as opposed to other Metroid titles, is your ability to freeze things is effectively made finite. And if you take too much time or waste too much of them, you'll have a very difficult time in fighting a lot of the later on bosses that require freezing effects. Not bosses necessarily, but enemies in general that require being frozen to be defeated. And here we get a nice shade of like steel blue gray. Very nice. You need to download data for the Ice Missile upgrade, but as you might expect, the data room here is secured. Level 3 security hatches are yellow. Release the security lock and download the data as usual. And experiment with those new missiles. They will be helpful. Is your objective clear? Yes. You know what to do, go to it. So we already get to unlock level 3. It feels like we just unlocked level 2. Again, I know it seems like this is progressing very quickly. I promise it's not nearly as quick as you might be believing it is. We can skip this part. So I was talking about organic data processing, or the game was at any rate. And that's a concept that's always fascinated me. And the reason for that is, how does one process, like, computer code organically? How would an organic being know how to process a man-made code? And it's something that's very cool in concept, but I don't think would ever be feasible in reality. And it's not the first time this has been introduced. For example, if you've played any of the, well, I guess not any, but some of the more recent installments in the Halo franchise, there is a creature in the Halo franchise called the Engineer that is capable of doing the same thing. They process data organically, like they're living computers. And I never understood how that'd be possible. And I still don't quite get it, but it's a concept that I think would be really cool, and I don't know that would ever actually be possible. At least not with our current understanding of technology, but it would be really neat. A lot of that stuff fascinates me. The theoretical, just science fiction in general really fascinates me, but and here we get the twinkling, snowy, happy time ice level that I don't like. In fact, I think this is my least favorite area on the entire station. Just because it's just, I don't know, I just don't like it. Which is funny, because cold in real life is not a big deal for me. But it seems like cold areas in games are always difficult. How in the crap? That's a red door. We'll figure it out. Let's go this way. That's what I thought. Would you stop with the spiky things? Now, if I'm not mistaken, that's a speed floor, or a speed booster floor. So I need to wind up a little bit back here. With these one-way gates. Those are a lot of fun. I love just blasting right through things with the speed booster. That is very satisfying. And we'll come all the way down here. Hold still, wouldn't you? I bomb that, but I think there's more to bomb over here, not just that. I might be mistaken about that. Pretty sure I'm thinking of somewhere else. Again, a lot of these areas look similar, and I keep thinking, oh, well, they all function the same. Well, they don't. Oh, you jerks with these stupid, spinny... I don't even know what those are. Like, what do you call those things? Is there anything? Oh, there would be something. There'd be an indication on the map if there was anything to get in here. There's not, so... Let's go down here. Well, there's a bombable area there, but I don't think we're meant to go down there just yet. And here's an example of one of those things where it's going to flash and spawn another monster, and if I kill that one, I want to leave it alone. I don't want to pick it up, because then it'll spawn this thing. Although, actually, I don't have the necessary tech requirements to make use of that yet, so we'll come back here momentarily. I do want to go down here, as it turns out. So you see, these things don't hurt you when it's just the little shrunken cocoon form, but once they grow up, they hurt you quite a bit. And here's a save room. And I believe right through here... No, maybe not. Not yet, at any rate. More of these little column things. Looks like I need a power bomb for that. Is there something up here still? Nope, power bomb for that too. And here we have the yellow security room. Awfully convenient. Now, I was speaking about science fiction a minute ago, and I think it's important to point out that there's a lot of popular science fiction, not tropes per se, but a lot of popular science fiction usage in these games. For example, they are very heavily influenced by the Alien movies, particularly with regards to the correlation between Samus and Ellen Ripley. That being said, Ripley obviously is not an intergalactic bounty hunter by any stretch, but there's a lot of similarities in their characters in terms of, not personality necessarily, but their development as characters in the series. So if you've played, I'm not serious, if you've seen the movie Alien Resurrection, I believe it's that one, where, spoiler alert if you haven't watched it, just go ahead and mute this if you want to watch it and haven't yet. Ripley ends up becoming, I guess, somehow impregnated with an alien embryo, and she effectively becomes part human and part alien xenomorph. And that's kind of what happens in this game, is that Samus has to be made effectively a human Metroid hybrid in order to cure her of the X infection. And I believe, just like in the movie, Ripley makes use of her partial xenomorph heritage and is able to stave off being attacked by them because they believe her to be one of them. Because obviously they're blind and they don't know any better. They identify one another through either pheromones or smell or some other sense of that. I believe it's the former. Don't quote me on that. But that's one of the big similarities. And also, there's a lot of similarities in a lot of the monster design, the early monster designs, and Ripley's character, and, like, you know, the xenomorphs. For example, I believe Ridley is loosely based off of an alien xenomorph, even though he's basically a dragon, but he has, like, the elongated head of one of the xenomorph kind of sort of looking things. But a lot of the work of H.R. Giger is evident in a lot of Metroid stuff, especially a lot of the concept art. And a lot of that stuff is really fascinating to me, and I love watching that and looking at that stuff. I'm a huge science fiction nerd. I know, big shock, right? So now we have the ice missiles. And they are very nice. They have this very chilling snowflake effect whenever they hit something now. And I don't know why they're having me do this already, but I think it's just the floor is what I have to go through. It would seem. I don't remember if there's hidden tanks in here or not. Let me consult my map real quick. I think there might be, but I don't remember. And that's very bad because my memory is terrible. That being said... Oh, what's this? I can roll into here. And now you'll see I don't necessarily kill the enemies outright, but instead freeze them into a block of ice first. And, oh jeez, I needed him. I needed him to get up here, because now I can't do that. I wonder if I can roll in and back out here. And I think if I leave it alone, it'll spawn on the wall. The parasite, I mean. And I can freeze that and then jump on it to get up there. Oh, even better. It's one of these things. These things just kind of hover in the air and stay up as little platforms, basically. So, yep, that will allow me to do that. I don't know about this guy. Just leave that parasite alone for a moment. Oh, perfect, and it turns into one of these things. So this is like a little... They're impervious to the beam and regular missiles, however they can be frozen and stood upon when frozen. And I fall all the way down. But because that he is invulnerable, he can't ever be killed, and I can just kind of stand here indefinitely. And using that will allow me to get up in here and grab this tank. We see a lot more of these little floating turtle things a lot later. In fact, they're going to be very important for getting access to more tanks later on. We've seen quite a few of them. I'm trying to remember if there's anything up here that I need to worry about getting. There is a door here, I suppose. What's in here? Another tank. Oh, look. It's a... Okay, I know I said that was the only exception, the only example of one of those tanks, and I was right because there was only... That was a missile one, and that was an energy tank just now. But those are the only two instances of false tanks becoming actual monsters. And of course, the stupid block respawns while I'm waiting for the energy tank cutaway to be over with. Now I believe I can go down here and be fine. Oh, jeez, alright, that's cool. Now, this thing will spawn into a full-blown column thing. And I can freeze it and use it to get... Oh, can I not? Yep, I can use it to get out of here. Ice missiles, very invaluable. There's another example of... I tried to do this a minute ago, but I couldn't, so... If I kill that, it'll respawn over there. And then if I kill that one and leave it alone, it'll make this column grow, and then I can freeze the column and run over the top of it harmlessly and speed boost through that wall. I should have just kept going. Don't know why I stopped. You don't really have any reason to stop until you hit a wall, so... Anyway, that will let us get up here. I swear there's a tank around here somewhere. Jerk. Is it through here, maybe? That's alright, we'll come back. I don't think there is anything there, actually. But then we get right back into the main room here, quote-unquote. We're just going to plow our way through here. And I have to go this way because that speed booster block I can't blast my way through, or bomb for that matter. You may be wondering what the heck is that thing up on the left there. That is another one of those missile barrier things. However, instead of missiles, it requires power bombs to get through, and we don't have those yet. Now, strangely, the more observant of you will notice that the data room in this room didn't get blown up this time. And that is an important point, because we're going to be needing that later. And that didn't look fun. Some of you are wondering what in the crap is that in the background. Don't worry, you'll find out soon. And it's about as fun as you might imagine. And now I can go into this room. However, I don't know that I can get the... You can see that there's a tank in here. However, I don't think I can get it without power bombs. No, maybe I can. I think. Yep, cool. Totally can. The what they do in this room is to trick you a little bit, because if you drop a bomb on the floor, it'll say a power bomb icon, and you're like, oh, I must need a power bomb to get the icon. Oh, that's right. It's time for this. I don't know if you can hear what the alarm is saying, but it's there's an emergency in Sector 3. And hence I have these alarm klaxons going, and the lights are all going, and it's very obnoxious. That's alright, I can take the time to save real quick. And actually, I'm going to save it right there and call it for now, because I don't want to have to deal with this emergency, quote-unquote, on the tail end of an episode. So we're going to get into the emergency in Sector 3 next time. But for now, I appreciate you all staying and watching. Thank you very much for joining me. This has been Seraphin. I will see you next time. Until then, stay classy, internets.